What's up, guys? It's Tasha and welcome back to my channel. Today we are building an outdoor high school. I am so excited, you guys. I've worked so hard on this build and I'm so excited to finally be able to share it with you guys. It took me about a month and a half, but it's finally done now. I think I would have been able to finish this build sooner if it hadn't been for the release of Island Living, which kind of distracted me for a bit, along with my other LPs that I've been working on. But I wanted to get this out to you guys today since it is Speedbuild Wednesday, which, by the way, if you guys are unfamiliar with my new schedule, I do either a cast video or a speed build on Wednesdays, and I do my Let's Plays on Mondays and Fridays. So without further ado, here is my outdoor high school. Now, I'm actually from Miami, Florida, but I moved to Ohio when I was about 7 years old. So while I may not have gone to an outdoor high school myself, I did go to an outdoor elementary school for kindergarten and first grade. So I drew a lot of inspiration for this build from that school. I've also always wanted to build a high school for The Sims 4, but since we already have some really good ones on the gallery, I thought it would be cool to mix it up a bit and build an outdoor high school. Now, this does not necessarily have to be a high school. It can also be a middle school, but since there's no playground, I don't recommend it as an elementary school, although you are welcome to turn it into one if you'd like. So here you see me building the exterior. This was kind of, I'd have to say this was the most challenging part of the build, just making sure that everything looked like in place and the structure looked legit. You know, obviously you can build a two-story without putting all of the columns there, but it doesn't look very realistic. So I had to make sure that everything just looked realistic, and in a few moments you'll see me building some bigger columns there. I kind of worked my way basically from the outside through the inside, but as I've mentioned in my other speed builds, you'll see me jump around a lot and go back and forth. Like, I'll add things to the outside and then I'll go back and I'll add things to another room. So here I am adding the columns in here, making sure everything looks even. I am very OCD, so I like to make sure that everything lines up and is centered. I do run into a problem in, you'll see that like halfway through the video when I build the gymnasium, because I realized I didn't make a big enough space for it, but we'll get to that later. So one thing I kind of wanted to talk about with you guys today is I have seen a lot of reviews for Island Living that have kind of changed my perspective of the pack. I want to know what you guys think. So I played it and my jaw dropped when I saw the trailer. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I was just blown away. But the thing is, I haven't played with it a whole lot, as I've done like speed builds and cast videos for it. Like, I have actually barely gotten to know the different neighborhoods within Sulani. I haven't really delved into the gameplay, but I've heard that a few people are actually kind of disappointed. So I think it was LGR, I watched his review, and apparently there's not really a whole lot that you can do with mermaids, and there's not really a clear storyline that you can follow within Sulani. There's like different clues and things, like you can clean up the ocean, but there's not really a clear storyline is what I'm hearing, at least not like there was with our last pack that we got before, which was Strangerville. And one thing that I personally thought was a little bit disappointing, and don't get me wrong guys, I love Island Living. It's probably by far, I mean, other than Parenthood and Seasons and Cats and Dogs, I have to say Cats and Dogs is pretty good, probably one of my favorite packs that The Sims 4 has. But I was a little bit disappointed that we don't have resorts and that we can't travel there. That to me was a little bit of a shocker, because for my Not So Berry challenge, I wanted the Berries, which is the family I play as right now, to travel to Sulani, but I couldn't do that. They could only travel to Salvadora and to I forget what that place is called, Granite Falls, the one with outdoor retreat. They could only travel to those two worlds, and they couldn't travel to Sulani. So I thought that was a bit odd. Somebody on Twitter mentioned that the Salvadorada, the world from Jungle Adventure, would have been a more appropriate pack, would have been a more appropriate world for Sims to actually live in versus vacation in, whereas Sulani is a little bit more appropriate to vacation in rather than live in. Now, I think Sulani is a great place to live, but I also think that Sims should have the opportunity to visit there and to travel there and vacation there as well. So I'd love it if somebody came out with some sort of mod or something where Sims can rent out a house there and just stay there for a few days. Just something to where, and you know, as much as I like managing resorts and I think that's fun, I don't really care so much for managing them, but I'd love to be able to just vacation to Sulani. So that's really all I'm asking for, but there were a few other things that people had pointed out about the pack that were a little bit disappointing. Like one thing that I think LGR pointed out was that when you go into the ocean, there's not a whole lot of detail as there is in the Island Paradise pack. And so that's something that I guess from that perspective, I think that's just the Sims team kind of staying within their limit they have for the graphics, because I know the whole point and one of like the big things about the Sims 4 was that they needed to dial down some of not really the graphics but the detail, so that it was rendered best on all computers versus the Sims 3 where you had to have kind of like a higher powered PC in order to play it. So that could be why, but I can definitely see why people would be disappointed with that. Personally, I found the pack to be really fun for The Sims 4. I think a lot of people compare it to Island Paradise and The Sims 3, and so that's why they may get disappointed. But I think that for The Sims 4, it's a great pack. So back to my speed build. This is the first classroom that I built, and this was actually supposed to be an English class. So I tried to incorporate elements that made it look more like an English class. And you'll see me go back to it here in a second. I'm kind of just fixating the structure right now. And those billboards, by the way, I didn't realize that there were chalkboards that looked like they had math equations on them, so you'll see me replace those in a second. But like I mentioned earlier, I can be a little bit sporadic with speed builds. I don't really go room to room. I'll see something that inspires me, like a poster or an object, and I'll immediately start building the next room. So that's why I've always been hesitant about doing speed builds. But anyway, as you can tell, this is the science room. So this is supposed to be like a chemistry class, and I have a like chemical analyzer back there, and then right now I'm building a little wash station for everyone to wash after they've dealt with their chemicals and everything. So I think the hardest part, other than building the structure of this and making sure that everything was lined up and realistic with the outdoor part of this build, was the picking out good clutter, picking out clutter that was relevant. Obviously, we don't have a school or a university pack, so I kind of had to get creative with a few things. There were a lot of really good things from Get Together and Get to Work that I used. So a lot of the desks that I used, like the teacher's desks and the filing cabinets, were from Get to Work. And then there were a few things like from Strangerville, like those posters are Strangerville posters, and those were really useful in science classes. And I put them in like other classes too. Like I think I have like a physics class, which yes, I know is a science class, but they just looked very educational. So I kind of put those everywhere. So yeah, I am building, I think this one is the history room. This was pretty easy to make because there were a lot of like military flags and things I could use, and I'm putting those up right now. And I kind of drew inspiration for these classes from like my personal high school classes. So this class is actually based off of the history class that I took my junior year of high school. It was a United States history class, so that's why you see all like the military flags. There's a lot of red, white, and blue going on there. It looks like there's the little like justice, looks like it was meant to be for like the police station. It's got like the little badge there, and that's there. So, and then I think I end up making this room blue, but I pretty much based like a lot of the rooms in this school on my high school. So it's kind of funny because the outside, I drew inspiration from my elementary school when I lived in Florida, but the classes on the inside, I drew inspiration from my own high school. So it's a little bit of a mix, and then obviously I added my own personal touch. I wanted this to be more of like a modern school. I wanted it to be very nice, but obviously there's a few things that are a little bit more like traditional, a little bit older, because I was drawing on my own experience. So this is the art room. This is probably one of my favorite rooms in the entire school. There's a lot that students can do in this class. So there are the easels, there's the clay, the desks and the chairs look a lot like they look exactly the same as the desks and chairs that we had in my junior year art class. And then I love the paintings that we got, not with the last update, but I think it was like 2 updates ago, the update we got with Strangerville. that I love those paintings, and they work so well. There were a lot of things that worked really, really well in the art room, and there were lots of beautiful paintings that I could put in here. So this is one of my favorite rooms, and there's a lot that students can do in this room as well. So one thing that I noticed when I was building this is there's some rooms that students can't actually do a whole lot, like obviously in the classrooms, like they can sit down, work on their homework, things like that. There's not really a whole lot of things they can interact with. But the art room, and then I have like a gym, the cafeteria, and then I don't want to give everything away right now, but there is going to be like a music room that you guys will see soon, and you guys saw that in the intro too, where they can play instruments and all that. So I definitely wanted to make it a high school where there was a lot of rec classes. So this one right here is actually a shop class, and I was thinking of doing like a home ec class, but I ended up not doing that simply because there wasn't a whole lot of room for it, and I wasn't sure how to execute that. But I did end up making the shop class. I believe this one right here, and I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth a lot, so it's kind of hard to keep track because, like I said, I can be very sporadic with my speed builds. So, but a few moments ago, you saw me making another class, and that was just supposed to be another English class. So I think total there is an English class, a history class, there's a math class, there's a physics class, there's a science class, a shop class, art class, there's like a music orchestra class, then there's a gym, like a gymnasium with a basketball court, and then a fitness center and the cafeteria. But I might have missed something, I'm not really sure. And then obviously I put like bathrooms in and things like that. Yeah, so I'm just kind of picking up the clutter for the shop class right now. But this room is just pretty simple. There's not really a whole lot going on with that one, and as you'll see, I'll kind of go back and forth with each of the rooms as I go. So I hope you guys have had a great day today. As I'm recording this right now, it is about 11:37 p.m. where I live. Luckily, I don't have to be up for work too early. I go to work at 9:30, and I live about 5 minutes away from my office, so it's super convenient. But I am very tired, and I probably shouldn't be because, funny story, guys, I woke up at 9:30 this morning, which is exactly when I'm supposed to be at work, and I've never done that before. I always obsessively set like 10 or 20 alarms, and today it's just, I don't know what happened, but I only had one alarm set. My alarm's usually set for 8:30, and it went off, and I remember snoozing it the first 2 times because, you know, I never actually wake up until like 20 minutes later. I remember snoozing it the first 2 times, but I had a really bad dream this morning, and I was so out of it when I woke up the third time that I accidentally stopped my alarm instead of snoozing it, and I woke up at 9:35, and I got like 2 texts from my coworkers. One of them was like, "Where are you at, girl?" I got like a missed call. I was like, oh my god, I literally shot out of bed, like grabbed my clothes, like I just grabbed the first thing I saw and ran out the door, didn't even bother doing my hair, nothing. I get there at about 9:45 and clock in, and I cannot, like, guys, I cannot believe I did that. Like, that was just, I'm never late for work. I'm always, like, at least 5 minutes early. So that was kind of, yeah, that was a little bit crazy. So lesson learned, I'm always going to obsessively set 5 alarms. I'm not a crazy person for doing that because that's a thing that happens, is if you don't set 5 alarms, there's a chance that you will accidentally stop instead of snooze and then wake up super late for work. I'm just glad I woke up at 9:35 and not at like 10. That would have been really bad. I think my body, I think all of our bodies have ways of like waking us up when we're supposed to be up. It's like we subconsciously know when we're supposed to be up. But yeah, guys, back to the speed build. I'm building the bathrooms right now. So I always forget when I do like speed builds of community lots that we don't have stalls anymore. I don't know why my mind is permanently stuck in The Sims 2, and I think we had them in The Sims 3, but I didn't play The Sims 3 a whole lot, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I had to make my own stalls for this, but it was a very educational experience because now I know how to make my own bathroom stalls. I messed around a lot with like the half walls and the different sized walls, which I don't normally get to do, so that was kind of cool. This speed build actually taught me a lot, and it was a great experience, even if there are a few things, like there are a lot of hiccups that I encountered with the speed build. That's why I go back and forth and back and forth. There were a lot of different things I learned though, objects that I had never used, and I got to use them in this build. So it was a great experience. It was definitely tough, and it took me a long time, and like there were times when I would come home from work and literally just spend hours on this trying to make it look right. But I think it actually turned out really well. I really hope you guys enjoy it. I know we don't have like a school pack or a university pack yet, so it's not actually functional, but I would hope that maybe you guys will use this in like your machinimas or your storytelling, or if you just do like Simstagrams or you just like taking screenshots. I really hope you like it as kind of like a decorative environment, but there's also a lot you can actually do here. It's not all for show. Like obviously, yeah, like I mentioned, you can't really do much in the classrooms, but like the art classes, they can paint. There are science classes, there's like a chemistry set they can use, there's a music class, which I haven't built yet. It's on the bottom floor, but they can play their instruments. There's a cafeteria where they can eat, and a gymnasium and a workout center. So I really hope that you guys enjoy this build. It will be up on the gallery under Suburban-simmer. That's Suburban-simmer with 2 R's. I don't think it'll be up by the time this video posts, but it should be up at least that afternoon. So Wednesday should be the 3rd when this posts, so the 3rd of July. It should be up at least by like, I want to say 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you watch this as soon as it comes out, it might not be up yet, but I promise it will be up. I'm weird and I don't like to put things on the gallery before I put the speed builds up. I don't know why. I'm weird like that, you guys. Now this right here, this gymnasium was a struggle for me. As you can see, I had to extend it out, and this caused the build to think that it was like a split level, and it looks like it's half outside and half inside. I was able to do a little bit of a trick, and you'll see that here in a minute with the roof, but even with the roof trick, the room still thinks it's half outside, so that's what's going on with the weird lighting there. And when I tried to take a screenshot of the inside, you could see the ceiling, and like it was very strange looking. So that is one of the things that is kind of a glitch, but it still works. It's still functional. Kids can still go in there and play basketball, and it's fine. It looks like a gymnasium. But yeah, that's one of the things that I struggled with, and I'm sure there was a simple solution for that. But I ended up just kind of being creative, and hopefully it's not like it doesn't bother you guys too much. It didn't really bother me a whole lot. I mean, you can barely tell unless you actually look at the ceiling, which I never look at the ceiling in my builds. So, but yeah, that's a gymnasium. So it's just a basketball court. I really wish there was a way that I could have built like bleachers. I really think that bleachers would be great. If we ever get a school pack, I hope we have bleachers. But these are actually the locker rooms. So right now I'm doing the men's locker room, and in a minute you'll see me do the women's. They're pretty much identical. But yeah, this also serves as like the downstairs bathroom for the high school. So you have the upstairs, which the boys and girls is connected, and then the downstairs, which is separated, because there are locker rooms as well with the showers and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much all for the speed build. In a minute you'll see me, I think all I have to do left is like the workout center and the orchestra slash music room. Okay, here I am. I'm doing the roof. So basically what I had to do for this is I had to make another room, and then I had to like slide the roof over and then delete that room. So technically it's not, like the build still thinks it's outside. But yeah, okay guys, well I think I'm actually going to leave off here. There's about 10 more minutes of the build and then screenshots. So I'm just gonna play some music for you guys. Again, I really hope you guys like it. I hope you guys will use it for like machinimas or storytelling or things like that. Don't forget to like this video, give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.